Okay, welcome to the session about variable and constants. Let me start first with the constants. Constants and constants refers to any container that we initialize it by giving a specific value. So, for example, if I said the mark, I will declare the mark and I will set the initial value to 0. But keep in mind that this is called initialization. Okay, so what is the constant? Is it just it refers to initialization or declaration? So let me explain the difference between declaration and initialization. So we have what is called the declaration, and um, declaration, it refers to uh, the declaring a variable. So if I said, for example, here mark, okay, so now the system know that we will have a variable that is called mark, but I didn't give any value. So if I said, for example, salary, okay, so now the system know that there is a container and the container will name is salary, okay, and no value is given in this case. Now we have another way that is called mark here, that is called initialization. This one is called what is called initialization. And initialization refers to I will give a mark and I will set an initial value as 0. Say, for example, if I would like to calculate the average of something, okay, so at the beginning I can set the average to 0. Salary, suppose that the no one in the company has less than 3,000, so I can set actually as a basic salary as 3,000. Okay, and we know, for example, if I said about the height, okay, I still don't know the person height because I didn't read the value yet from him, but I can initialize it as, for example, 0. Suppose that I want to declare this as 0, okay, at the beginning, to make sure that this container will not be an empty or null value. Okay, it has a specific value. I know later on we will change it from the end user. So this form here is called a declaration because we declare but we didn't give any value. This form here is called initialization because we declare and give a starting or initial value. Now we can ask the user to enter a value. So here comes the variables because here might be for the mark that I set before this one. I set before as 0. I will ask the user here to enter input. As you remember, we use input. Okay, and here I will tell the user to enter the mark name, the mark value, and the same thing for the salary. Okay, the same thing for the salary here. So now it becomes a variable because the user can enter any value. So what about the constant? We have the constant. The constant, it refers to a value that cannot be changed, similar to pi, for example. Pi, we know that is equal to 3.14. For example, country name. If I'm developing this application for United Arab Emirates, so I expect the country, for example, country name that is equal to, I can put it UAE in this form, okay, or Egypt, for example. So in this case, it's a constant value, okay. So that I'm not expecting it to be changed. For example, if I said, for example, the mobile or international, okay, international, what, no, this one here, another variable, international, say, for example, phone. For Egypt, we know that is 002. This is the international code. So I'm not expecting that this will change soon or next year or after 5 years. Okay, or the buy value will change even after 100 or 200 years. So these considered as a constant that are not a change during the runtime. So what about the variable? Variable are the ones that change during the runtime. Okay. One more thing here that we need to speak about this little bit more, okay, about the variables and the data types that we already covered in the previous session. So let us look here to a variable. So if I have these, for example, suppose that I have the basic salary and bonus. Let us look here the salary, and we have bonus, okay. And this bonus also I will ask the user, then I need total salary, and this total salary equal to salary plus bonus, and then run. Now let us say that this is 3,000 and this one is 2,000. Now let us see the output. The output is 3,000, 2,000. What happened? Why this happened? Because any value, even if it's a numerical value, and I ask the user to enter it, the system will handle it as a text or a string value, even if it's a numeric. So even if the value here is numeric, it will handle it as a string value. Say, for example, let us say something like this before updating this one again. So if I said here mark or number one, num1 that is equal to, and I will ask the user to enter input. So here I want the user to enter number one and number two, okay, and then I want to add them together and print. Now if I enter 1 plus 1, I should get 2, but actually I get 11. Why I get 11? Because it handled the first number as a string value, the second one as a string value, plus here handle what is called concatenation. So it just concatenate the values together, and I get this value that is 11. So what is the correct way actually to handle numerical values? Now let me take the same example, this one. I have different methods to form this in a numerical form. So we can see here salary that is equal to, now I already read the value here. Now I can put as integer. So this is called casting. This one is called casting. And the casting means that I converted the salary that I received here, that is actually received as a text form, and I converted into numerical form. So salary equal to int of salary. Now let us look to the bonus. I need to do the same thing, bonus integer. Okay, now the output will be different. Now let me enter the same values here, 3,000, and now this one 2,000, and the output, as you can see, is correct, 5,000. So the only difference that happened, that I apply casting, okay, and I converted the salary from a string form into a numerical form. I informed the system that this is, keep this as numerical value because we want to do some calculation or processing. Now I hear a question in your mind. Can I merge these two steps together? Can I merge these two together? Yes, we can merge this in this form. Instead of having this end here, I can just take this one, open brackets, okay, keep this int here outside, and then I can close the brackets here. So this one here, I do the two steps in one step. Both of them are accurate. So either I can do conversion direct in the same line of code, or I can use the other method by reading the numerical value first and then after that do the conversion into numerical form. So let me change this one as well. I will open brackets. At the end, I will close the brackets here. And now let me run this one. It's 3,000. This one is 3,000. This one is 2,000. And the total, as you can see here, it's 5,000. I got the same result as you see here at the previous one. But the difference, I merged the conversion in the same line with reading the data. In this one, I read the data first, or the values, and then I convert it into using the end or casting, as I already said before. So this is actually the difference between variable and constants, declaration and initialization, and casting. So all these are the concepts that we cover in this session. that the declaration, we declare the variable. Initialization, we declare and assign a default value. Variable, it refers to any value that we can read from the user and we can change it anytime during the program runtime. Constant refers to any values that are not changeable during the runtime of the application at all, like the by value, country name, phone key, program name, university name, things like city name. Okay, if I'm developing this application to a specific city. But if I'm developing an application that will read the city from the user, now it becomes variable, because one time one person will see Dubai, Sharjah, Cairo, any other city. So in this case becomes a variable. Okay, so even for these constants, it depends on the type of the application. But of course, by value is a constant. There is no way to keep it as a variable for. Now we cover as well the casting, and we said the casting that once we read the value, even if it's numeric, is still in a string form, so we need to convert it into numerical form. So the system can make an addition, subtraction, or any math operation to it. So we have to use int, be either by converting this variable again into integer and store the same value in the same variable. Okay, or by direct conversion merging, so that I can use int and add the whole input inside this casting request. Okay, so that's all for today's session, and see you in the next session.